We live in age where we are told to express our anger, but Buddha would disagree. Acting out on anger makes it easier to do so again in the future, leading to a never-ending cycle. Buddha advises us to neither bottle up nor let our emotions overflow, but to analyze them and come to understand the faulty thinking behind anger. Buddhists might talk about love, compassion, and tolerance a lot, but when even great masters like the Dalai Lama admit to getting angry sometimes, is there any hope for the rest of us? Science might say that feeling anger is totally normal. Psychologists advise us to express our anger, and some religions might even have righteous anger. Buddhism, on the other hand, says that anger is always bad. The 8th century Buddhist scholar Santideva described anger as the most extreme negative force, one with the capability of destroying the good we have worked so hard to create. Think about that. One moment of anger combined with access to a gun can completely change someone's future from a life of freedom to a life behind bars. A more everyday example would be how anger can destroy friendship and trust that might have taken decades to build up. Ultimately, anger is more dangerous than all of the world's bombs and guns and knives put together. We know that anger is not a happy state of mind, but what can we do about it? Buddhism offers a range of simple methods to help us transform our minds. Be warned, there is no magic pill. We are going to share our top 8 Buddhist tips to deal with anger. Let's get started. Number 1. That's life, samsara. Buddha's first teaching 2500 years ago goes straight to the point. Life is unsatisfactory. Guess what? Our lives will never be satisfactory. We are born, we die. In between there will be good times and bad times, and times we probably don't even feel much at all. This never-ending cycle is what Buddhism calls samsara. When we came into this world, no one said life would be nice and easy and non-stop fun, and that we'll always have things go exactly as we want. When we understand our own situation in samsara, it enables us to understand everyone else too. We are all in this together. Being angry at situations, others, or ourselves is not going to make anything better. Other people say and do stuff we might not like because, yes, their lives are crap too. This kind of thinking can radically transform our perspective. Even if each of us might seem to be the center of our own universe, that does not mean that everything has to or ever will go exactly the way we want. Number 2. Be a hero. Patience. Disturbing emotions are best overcome through their opponent. Fighting fire with fire simply doesn't work. Why? It is impossible for our minds to hold two opposing emotions simultaneously. You can't yell at someone and be patient with them at the same time. It just doesn't work. Patience is often seen by many as a sign of weakness, where you let others walk all over you and get away with whatever they want. The reality, however, could not be more different. When we are frustrated, how easy is it to simply scream and shout? And just how difficult is it to stay calm and control our emotions? Following our feelings wherever they lead us does not make us heroes. It makes us weak. So next time you are on the verge of screaming your head off, draw your swords of passions and cut the head off your own anger instead. How? We could try breathing deeply, a direct antidote to the short, sharp breaths we take when we are angry. If we notice ourselves becoming tense, we can count slowly to 100 to prevent ourselves from saying things we will regret later on. Or if we are in a direct confrontation, we might want to remove ourselves from the situation before it all goes downhill. Each situation is different, so you will need to use your brain to see which one works best for you. Number 3. Get real. Analyze the situation. When we are angry, our rage appears to arrive as some sort of protector, like our best friend looking after our interests, helping us on the battlefield. This illusion allows us to think that being angry is justified. But if we look carefully, anger is not our friend, but our enemy. Anger causes us stress, anguish, loss of sleep, and appetite. If we continue being angry at someone, it creates a long-lasting impression on others. Let's face it, who wants to hang around an angry person? When we are accused of something and feel that defensive knots start to tighten in our stomach, we should stop and think rationally. There are only two choices. Either the accusation is true or it is false. If it is true, then why should we be angry? If we want it to be mature adult, we should admit it, learn from it, and move forward with our lives. If it is not true, again why should we be angry? The person made a mistake. Is that something we have never done in our lives? Number 4. Say your mind. Meditation. Meditation and mindfulness practice can be extremely beneficial in combating anger. Many people might see meditation as a waste of time. Why spend 20 minutes sitting on a cushion when we can be making the most of our day, right? Others think that meditation is a nice escape from real life, where we can spend time away from the children, emails, husband or wife. But meditation is so much more. It is preparation for real life. It is no good if we meditate on compassion every morning, but as soon as we get to work, we shout out at our employees and complain about our colleagues. Meditation familiarizes our mind with positive thoughts, patience, love, compassion, and it is something that we can do anywhere, anytime. If we spend half an hour of our morning communicating, listening to our favorite tunes, the least we can do is spend 10 minutes of that time generating thoughts of loving kindness for others, something that is effective at reducing anger and making us into a person that others want to be around. Number 5. Bow down, learn from your enemy. Buddhism often teaches us to do precisely the opposite of what we would normally do. When we are angry with someone, our urge is get revenge. The result? We are left just as, if not more, miserable than before. It seems counterintuitive, but doing the opposite gives the opposite result, the path to happiness. It sounds crazy, but think about taking your object of anger as your teacher. If we want to become better, that is more patient, more loving, kinder, happier people, then we need to practice. We all know that it takes time and effort to become a world-class football player or violinist. So why would it be any different with our mental exercise? If we are always surrounded by people who do and agree with everything we want, we will never have any challenges. In this way, the person we are angry with becomes extremely precious, giving us the opportunity to really practice patience. This immediately stems the rising tide of angry feelings because it changes our perspective from what they have done to us to what they are doing for us. Number 6. Remember death. Impermanence. You are going to die. I am going to die. We are all going to die. So when that person we just can't stand does something that truly annoys us, stop and think. When I am on my deathbed, will I care? The answer, unless we know that the person is really hell-bent on taking over and destroying the world, will probably be a resounding no. This little tip is so simple, yet helps ease many of life's little annoyances. We all know that we are going to die, but it obviously isn't something that we really know. Death is an abstract, faraway concept that happens to other people, the old, the sick, those involved in freak accidents. But that is not reality. Young people die before old people. Healthy people die before sick people every single day. When we focus on our definite future death, tomorrow, in a year, in 50 years, A lot of the things that would normally set us off literally become nothing. It is not that they won't annoy us anymore, but that we'll recognize there is no point in wasting our precious time, breath, or energy on them. Number 7. What goes around? Karma. People say what goes around comes around, or it's his karma. He deserves what is happening to him, implying that people reap what they sow. This is not quite the Buddhist understanding of karma, which is much more complex and subtle. Still, while people seem quite happy to point out that others' suffering is their karma, most are reticent to see that when they are in a sticky situation themselves, it has also arisen from their karma. Everything we experience, from the incredibly joyous moments to the depth of despair, arise from causes. These causes don't simply fall out of nowhere into our laps, but are created by ourselves. So when we are experiencing some awful situation, instead of letting anger take over, we can stop and think, where did this come from? And do I want to make it worse? Karma is about how we behave compulsively, reacting to things in the same old way that we always have. If we understand how karma works, we will see that we have the ability to change our future experience with what we do now. And here, that means to practice patience when anger bites. Number 8. It is not real. Emptiness. While patience might be the direct antidote, emptiness is the strongest antidote, not just to anger, but to all of our problems and difficulties. In fact, it does not matter how patient we are. If we have not understood emptiness or voidness, problems will continue to rain upon us like an Asian monsoon. If we take a moment to analyze our minds when we are angry, we will notice something, a strong sense of me or I. I am so angry about what you said to me. I can't believe what he did to my friend. I am definitely right about this, and she is definitely wrong. Me, and me. When we are angry, we have got the perfect chance to analyze this I that appears so concretely. It does not exist. We are not saying that we don't exist or that nothing matters, but that when we try to find this I, is it in our mind, our body, in both? There is no way that we can say yes, there it is. This one is difficult for people to comprehend, but the fact is that when we start to analyze reality, it radically changes our perspective. We will see there never was anything we can pinpoint to be angry about in the first place. So, it does not matter how many times we repeat, I won't get angry without actually fought. We will never achieve the peace of mind we all wish for. The points that we discussed earlier are not just a nice list, they are actual tools we can use to free ourselves from our frustration, anger, and sadness. With practice, any of us can do it. Just give it a try.